medal goes to Norway, the youngest competitor in this race.
Ingebrigtsen takes the gold.
His fourth successive title.
The result is the same as ever.
Jakob Ingebrigtsen is king once again.
Ingebrigtsen looks very, very calm. Now it's Mohammed just looking a little bit tired. It's not a relaxed running style of Mohammed's, but it's very effective. And behind them, the two Frenchmen, Gressier and El Bouagigi, and Jack O'Leary from Ireland. And that's Surafels, followed by three Spaniards. That completes the top 10. As you could hear, I just let the infield announcer let you know that Norway has never won a junior men's gold medal, an under-20 men's gold medal, as it's now known. Of course, his brother did win the under-23 title a few years ago in Budapest. And Caroline Bjorky-Grovdal has taken junior titles in the past, and she's running in the senior race a little bit later. Well, you can also see a big grin on the European Athletics president, Sven Arne Hansen, who's sitting just in front of us. For many years was the Norwegian Federation president. O'Leary now. So now Ingebrigtsen starting to really throw down the gauntlet. Well, suddenly in the space of 100 meters or so, a big gap. And now Ingebrigtsen is entering the finishing straight. He can see the finish line in front of him now. Behind him, it's looking like a battle for silver between Chapanelli and Mohammed. So Ingebrigtsen about 100 meters to go now. Behind him, Chapanelli just getting clear for the silver medal. Mohammed looking now very tired. But the under-20 men's gold medal goes to Norway. The youngest competitor in this race, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, shows he's got wise old shoulders and a fantastic talent. Well, Ingebrigtsen, what a talent this man is. As I say, I mean, without going through the stats in detail, I think he may well be the youngest ever winner in this category. 16 years of age.
Now Ingebrigtsen, as we say that, just moving up onto the shoulder of Rousseau. Just keeping track of what's going on at the front, because Garcia just looks as though he just put in a little surge there.
And Garcia completed that lap in exactly the same time as did the previous lap, 1500 metres at 4:37. So the pace is it's constant.
I think the penultimate lap is going to be the one where things change, because frankly, if they leave it to the bell with 1500 metres to go, every other runner in this race knows that Ingebrigtsen's got that finish over the last kilometre. However, if one of these runners is courageous enough to make a long surge over that penultimate lap, well, things could be very interesting. Spain now taking the lead. I think that's one of the leftovers from perhaps the summer training months. So, leading the way at the front now, controlling the pace. It's Garcia of Romania on the inside. On his outside, Ingebrigtsen. Khalaf of France. We haven't mentioned much about Khalaf. He was the French under-20 cross-country champion earlier this year. Hasn't really got many credentials at cross-country. This is his first major international cross-country. Yeah, no, with coming into the last of the long laps. How do you assess the race so far? They're still very bunched together at the front. I've got a feeling this just plays into the hands of Ingebrigtsen, doesn't it? I mean, we could see a finish very similar to last year when he took off with about 700 metres to go, if I remember rightly.
Yes, he didn't actually completely rely on his sprint, because he won by about 6 seconds in the end.
You can hear the bell. So there's just 1,570 metres to go now. Still most of the main protagonists from early in the race up there. Spaniards, I'm fairly sure the Spaniards are still leading the team competition. Richardson, who showed to the fore during the first half of the race, slipping back to 12th place at the moment, but still far from out of contention and certainly a contributor to the British team standings. But at the moment it's Garcia of Romania and Ingebrigtsen who are towing a group of about 12 to 15 men. Still very, very closely matched. Nothing like the reduction in numbers that we saw in the under-20 race. Two Frenchmen, Ingebrigtsen of Norway, Turkish runner Barbaros, and the leading Spaniard Miguel Gonzalez. Courageous bid for home from 1,500 metres, but now we're coming into just a couple of hundred metres from home, and it's Barbaros attacking, but Ingebrigtsen just tracking him. Calaf drifting off. So too Gonzalez. Barbaros now desperately trying to shake off Ingebrigtsen. Ingebrigtsen, though, just looking very calm and collected. Gilbert looking behind him, starting to look very tired, but it's Calaf who's really... But now they turn the final corner, 70 metres into the finish line. Now Ingebrigtsen goes through the gears. Jakob Ingebrigtsen just flows into motion and stretches away from Barbaros of Turkey. Gold for the second year running in this event goes to Jakob Ingebrigtsen of Norway. Silver, Barbaros of Turkey, and Gilbert of France takes the bronze. He's got every weapon in his armoury to be able to deal with any threat at this level. Two-time gold medalists at the European Under-20 Championships on the track during the summer. Youngest ever Under-20 cross-country champion at European level 12 months ago in Chia. Jakob Ingebrigtsen retains his title and adds to what's been a glorious year for Norwegian athletics.
Ingebrigtsen finished second at the World Under-20 1,500 metres champion before going on to be the European senior. But Hayward, not that far away, fourth if I remember rightly.
That's right, and then he went on to run a very, very fast time at the end of the season, 3:36, just outside the very long-standing British junior record.
Umai's finished third recently at the very, very strong Atapuerca IAAF permit meeting in the Under-20 race. But that attracts athletes from all over Europe, one of the leading cross-country races on the international calendar, certainly the first half of the international calendar. So earlier in the programme, there's the very wide expanse of sand on top of Earth that Mark was talking about. So we have Serbia, Spain, Norway, followed by two Britons. I have to say, I do admire the nonchalance and the arrogance of Umai's. I don't think he can afford to be quite so relaxed with Jakob Ingebrigtsen on his shoulder, making a slight meal of getting over one of those logs, those three logs together, which have already claimed a couple of victims. You have to wonder at what point Jakob Ingebrigtsen is going to make his move. He's let Umai's and Dibic make all the running so far in this race.
He drifted through on the inside then without hardly any effort.
And suddenly, Umai's is having to grit his teeth. And now suddenly, a very large gap in just a very short space of distance has opened up between Jakob Ingebrigtsen and Usim Umai's. Spaniard now. Well, he's still looking very relaxed, but the two men are operating at very different speeds. So just over 100 metres now to the line. And Ingebrigtsen just makes it look so easy, looking as though he's barely broken sweat. Takes congratulations of one of the crowd there. He's looking for the applause as he comes into the home straight. About 30 metres to go before he crosses the line. Jakob Ingebrigtsen gets his hat-trick of gold medals. Ingebrigtsen of Norway takes the gold yet again for the third year running. And he becomes a mud angel. Uasim Umais of Spain takes the silver, followed by Elzan Bibic. Jake Hayward, a great 1500 metre runner. Didn't quite have the stamina this time. Simon Haugen in 5th. So 2 Norwegians in the first 5. So just seeing the highlights of the final part of the race. Just confirming that Jakob Ingebrigtsen adds to his very, very extensive gold medal haul from European events. 18 minutes exactly for the 6.3 kilometre course. Outstanding run from this young man.
As we just see Jakob Ingebrigtsen edge to the front with roughly a kilometre of running undergone. And Ingebrigtsen now really starting to make his presence felt. He just bided his time during that first kilometre, and now he's at the front. But looking back, yes, Norway for the first time won the team gold last year, and preceding them were Spain. France defended it in 2016, having won it in 2015. Then you go Italy, France, Russia, and Great Britain, Northern Ireland. So quite a spread of countries in terms of who's been taking the honours in the under-20 men's competition. And now, as we're getting into roughly the halfway point in this race, with roughly 3 kilometres undertaken, you can see now that the field is really starting to string out after those early kilometres. And it's Palkovic who's taking the lead here. Well, I think a few people have decided not to give the race to Jakob Ingebrigtsen and just run for the minor placings. There's Palkovic, Hicks and Makaleni and Gidey up there. Makaleni just starting to slip back a little bit at this point. But it's certainly people have looked at Jakob Ingebrigtsen and wondered, how can I beat him? And what can I bring to this competition? And however it turns out for the young Hungarian, I have to say he's doing a great job at taking this on. Now Ingebrigtsen starting to pour it on with about 2 kilometres of running still to go. But behind him, Gidey having an absolutely outstanding run. But Ingebrigtsen now 2 kilometres to go, and the Norwegian looks just so comfortable, and he's just really just changed the pace and starting to pull away from his last challengers. It's certainly Ingebrigtsen on his way to yet another gold medal. Just looking now around the course, he's coming around the bend. He's got about another 500 metres of running, and very soon he's going to turn into the home straight. Behind him, an outstanding run from Efren Gidey, 19-year-old Irish junior 5,000 metre runner. And here he is, just turning into the home straight now. We can see him coming down. He's had to... What was going on there? He just had to leap the barrier at the side. Anyway.
It is tighter over there than it looks. And I think that's going to be... The speed he was coming down, that is very relevant.
Right, so he's celebrating, he's cheering, and he's going to be the very first gold medalist at the Spa European Cross-Country Championships. Jakob Ingebrigtsen takes gold in the under-20 men's race. Gold once again to Norway, his 4th successive title. Well, we'll just take a 30-second breather here as we look at a recap of Jakob Ingebrigtsen working his way towards yet another gold medal.
The Italian that we need to keep a very close eye on, Yamani Burhan Kripa, in that 4-man league group along with Aris Kaya, Jimmy Gressier and Jakob Ingebrigtsen, and it looks as though they are ahead now by a significant enough margin of around 20 metres from the Andy Butchart-led chasing pack. And I wonder already, are we seeing this race develop into It's an interesting thing that Jakob Ingebrigtsen is doing. It's almost like he's wind drafting.
Yeah, he is. He's using every trick in the book.
He's doing the conservation of energy thing you guys do.
Yeah, he's like, everything is a calculation within your head. You're just thinking about, where's my driest line? Where's the least amount of resistance? Where's the driest piece of ground? Where can I, take a break? Where do I need to dig in? How can I save that finite energy for the final lap in the final 100 meters?
This is definitely, just so long as it's not from the narrow part of the course, that's all that matters. So
Kripa is gone. Kripa is gone.
Just gone. So this is it now. So we can see the 3 medals unless one of these pulls out, but I doubt that's going to happen. I think these are the 3 medalists, so we're going to absolutely have the race that I think we expected, because these were the 3 men with the class to medal. But you just don't want to see Jakob Ingebrigtsen on your shoulder at any part of a race, but especially the last 1,200 meters.
No, it's ominous for Kaya, and it's at this part where Jakob will just nudges ahead, a sly look over by Kaya's shoulder to see where Jimmy Griesier is, but Jakob has all the artillery. He's everything in his arsenal to deliver. His speed, his strength. He just looks so comfortable, Greg.
And this man now looks as though he's in total control. And the way that he has run his race, he once said that his father, Gert, does everything in terms of his schedule, all his training's laid out, but when it comes to tactics, even Gert, his father, says, Jakob, I know you want to do your own thing. And Jakob says exactly that as well. He does everything his own way tactically, and he seems to be as good a tactician as he is a man with an engine with a lot of legs and speed at the end of the wheel, so to speak, when he wants to turn it on. He doesn't look as though he's going to need to go into full flight mode in terms of sprinting here. He's decided to take control of this race in the last 1,200 meters. He's let Kaya do all the work. Kaya, bronze medalist and a double gold medalist before, is hanging on for the silver medal, but there's no question about who the gold medalist is going to be now, because that's 250 meters to go for Jakob Ingebrigtsen. The lead is 60 meters and he's stretching it, and there's no way that the Olympic champion, who's also a double indoor European champion at 1,500 meters and 3,000 meters, is going to let this one go. This has been a champagne performance. And I think if anybody's old enough to remember Herb Elliott in Dublin in 1958, are we seeing the greatest athlete to appear in Dublin
and
since
Greg,
1958?
The knowledgeable Irish public are responding to seeing this man in action.
Oh, this is a gold medal to savour for Jakob Ingebrigtsen, his 4th championship medal in 2021. The Olympic medal will obviously be the crowning achievement. The 1,500 and 3,000 at the start of the year in Poland were the beginning of what was the end of a year where Jakob Ingebrigtsen has finished with a gold medal in the European cross-country. Jakob Ingebrigtsen not just leading Norway to the team bronze medal, he has taken the individual medal from Aris Kaya of Turkey and Jimmy Gressier of France in 3rd position.
I was impressed with Jakob Ingebrigtsen in Lisbon. That was a tricky technical course. There was barely a flat part of it. He nearly came off the course in one of the downhills, and he complained afterwards he tweaked a glute and it did impact the rest of his season, but he was certainly comfortable on these tricky uphill and downhill sections.
Little glance over his shoulder there from Ingebrigtsen, see what's going on, and he'll see that he's got plenty of company. Hannah, that's 8 away now, I think, in that lead group. Ingebrigtsen, though, calling the shots, and I wonder if he'll just lope round these next couple of laps and then turn the screw like he normally does, or if he'll want to go early. Well, I think Kimeli has done everything right so far. He's just tucked in there. I don't think he's hit the front himself yet, and for any period of time, really. Abraham goes through in 4th place, and then Shrub and Crippa, and then Augusto, and another of the Italians going through there, I think Zach Chiapinelli, back in about 8th place. But Ingebrigtsen, well, guess what? A lap and a half to go, and Ingebrigtsen is at the front for the first time of any significance. Ingebrigtsen there, coming down onto the flat field section for the penultimate time, and a little glance over his shoulder and he will see what he wanted to see, that he's got separation now, the 3 of them out in front, with Abraham and Crippa, and then Shrub and Augusto for France going through behind. But Jakob Ingebrigtsen, I can only assume, is feeling comfortable at the front now, and it's a matter of when he chooses to just lengthen that stride imperceptibly. He does it on the track. So often on the track you see Ingebrigtsen, and it's almost impossible to discern when he puts the acceleration in, but he just lengthens his stride. He's got a slight forward lean anyway, Hannah, and he just leans into it a little bit more, lengthens the stride, applies a bit more power, almost like just gradually pressing an accelerator very, very slowly, and he eases away from opposition. We've seen it again and again and again. He's the defending champion, and he goes out now on this final lap, 25:13 on the clock. Two athletes with him, a couple of others a few metres further back. But is the writing on the wall, or are we in for the shock of the day?
I was thinking there's no way Isaac Kameli and Emil Caress think they can outkick Jakob Ingebrigtsen. Don't care how strong they think they are, how much of a cross-country strength kick they can. I hope maybe they'll prove me wrong. So I think Emil Caress and Isaac Kameli, they have to make a move now. If they don't make a move now, that's what would tell me that Jakob Ingebrigtsen's raised his pace. If he started that sort of imperceptible squeeze that we see him do, I think if Emil Caress and Isaac Kameli don't try and get past him, then that slow, deadly kick has started.
Well, these two, Kameli there in the colours of Belgium and Caress for Great Britain in third place, they have got now to prepare themselves psychologically for what's coming at them, and that will be a wind-up from Ingebrigtsen in his traditional Ingebrigtsen Norwegian style. He'll just turn the screw. Well, we thought he had a race in his hands today, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, but ultimately the result is the same as ever. Isolation into the home straight for Jakob Ingebrigtsen. A finger held aloft. Yes, you are number one, sir. You have retained your title. It's going to be gold again at these European Athletics Cross-Country Championships for Jakob Ingebrigtsen. A comfortable victory. He has eased away to about a 10 or 12 second victory from Emil Caress, who comes home for a brilliant silver for Great Britain. 29.33 for Ingebrigtsen. 9 seconds the gap back to Caress.
Well, nobody had the answer today. Jakob Ingebrigtsen, runaway winner in the senior men's race.
Well, we're on the third of 5 laps. They're at about the halfway stage now, very close to the halfway stage. Hugo Milner, Jakob Ingebrigtsen just tucked in there behind. Kripper, Hendricks is up there as well. The French Shrub, the defending champion, still the reigning champion for another 10 minutes or so at least. The Belgian going well. Milner leads for Great Britain. His teammate Rory Leonard, the second scorer, giving a really good account of himself. Rory Leonard has come on in leaps and bounds. European Under-23 champion last year, over 10,000 metres. He's still only 23. Coached by Andy Hobdell, who incidentally coaches Ellis Cross and Scott Beattie in the British team as well. He's done a fabulous job as Hobdell. As Kripper now runs a slightly different line there for Italy, alongside Ingebrigtsen, who almost gets his nose in front there down this home straight as they come towards the end of this third lap. 2 laps to go. Well, this last lap is going to be super fast. The second lap was 4:26, the third lap 4:26, the fourth lap 4:20, and this one is going to be much quicker because they have really taken the gloves off here now. Kripper threw the gauntlet down at the Norwegian, and as ever, Ingebrigtsen has responded in the best possible fashion if you're a Norwegian fan, and that is to say, yep, anything you can do, I can do as well, son, and I'll tell you what, have it back with interest, have at you, so to speak, because Ingebrigtsen now, halfway around this final lap, is putting the pressure on Kripper, and the Italian there in the blue vest in second place had a little glance over his shoulder just then, and that was telling, because Ingebrigtsen is pouring it on here, that combination of speed and strength and racing nous, knowing when to apply the pressure, is applied again and again, and it's applied correctly. Jakob Ingebrigtsen in his element. How many times have we seen this? This will be his 19th European gold medal on various surfaces. This man does it again and again. He's blown them away over this final kilometre. Kripper back in second place. He's going to take silver. He's well separated from third place, Kameli of Belgium, who surely will take bronze. In fact, Ndikan Winayo of Spain is back in third place, but there's no doubting the winner. Jakob Ingebrigtsen is crowned king once again at these European cross-country championships. Brilliant running in Antalya. Kripper in second for Italy. Considering the way the pace picked up, Hannah, over those final 2 laps, there's a lot of athletes not too far behind the winner here, Jakob Ingebrigtsen. The calibre at the front end of this race today was supremely high.
Hi, I'm Nadia Batogritti. Sign up now to the European Athletics YouTube channel.